jury, so not everybody's going to get selected. If that were the case, I'd have y'all sit over here in the jury box on each other's lap, and like they stack the lawn chairs down there at Home Depot or something. But fortunately, that's not how it works. So not everybody's going to get selected. So if you're not asked to serve, please don't be offended or feel your judgment, your integrity, or your honesty is being questioned in any way. I assure you it's not. Now, if there's any question during the course of these proceedings that I ask you or the lawyers ask you, prefer not to answer for whatever reason, you please tell me. We're not here to put you on the spot or be nosy or embarrass you. That's certainly not our purpose. I don't think there'll be any questions like that, but if there is, you please tell me. If it becomes necessary, we can ask you those kinds of things in private. We have thick skins. You're not going to hurt our feelings. So if we ask you something you prefer not to answer, you please tell me. And if it becomes necessary, we can ask you in private. Now, in just a minute or two, I'm going to read to you all the pertinent portion of the indictment or charging document in this case that sets out the allegations in this case. When I'm done doing that, I'm going to ask you all, is there anything because of the nature of the charges themselves that would cause any of you all to feel you'd be unable to be fair and impartial in this case simply because of the allegations themselves? Then I'm going to ask you all, do you know anything about this case, either through your own personal knowledge, by discussion with anyone else, or by reading or hearing about any of it in the news media? And then I'll introduce to you the people seated here in front of you, and I'm going to ask you shortly if you're related to any of them, have any business or social relationship with any of these folks seated here in front of you. So I haven't forgotten them, I'm not ignoring them, I'm just getting there in just a minute or two. Now, when it gets down to the appropriate time, we're not there yet, but when it gets to the appropriate time, I'll take up any request to be excused from service on this jury. I promise I will, and I won't impose a hardship on anybody any more than I absolutely positively have to, I promise. But not wanting to be here or hoping somebody else will do it for you is probably not going to be good enough, but I'll let you get a crack at me later, I promise. So, folks, somebody's got to do this. I'm just not talking about you all, but the ones we've summoned in. Somebody has to do it. So if you'll just be patient with us and with me, we'll get through this process as thoroughly and as quickly as we can. But please be patient. Please be patient. Please be patient. I'll be patient with you. If you'll show me the same courtesy, it'll help things go along a little quicker. A couple other things before I read the indictment. If y'all will make sure you speak up loud and clear so I'm able to hear you. The nice ladies over here on my left and y'all's right are able to hear you so they can get your comments down. In a criminal case, we're required to make a record in this case, and that's what these nice ladies are doing. You'll also see the microphones hanging over y'all's heads there. They're pretty sensitive, and they'll pick up y'all's voices, I think, if you just make sure you speak up, because we're also, not only do we have the court reporters taking down stenographically what's said, we're also trying to record everything, and that's what those microphones do there. Now, I know what you mean when you nod your head like this, or do this, or I know what you mean, but it doesn't get picked up well, and they don't know what you mean. So if you just speak up so we're able to hear you, and I'm able to hear you, to help things go along a lot quicker. Let me put it to you this way. If y'all speak up, this will get over quicker. If y'all speak up, this will get over quicker. If y'all speak up, this will get over quicker.
Amen.
If you don't speak up, you'll be here longer, okay? Okay. I'm not hard of hearing or anything, but as we get further and further back, I don't think I am. If y'all just make sure you speak up so we can get you recorded, it'll help things go along a lot quicker. Now, we have a seating chart with each of y'all assigned to your little seats. I don't magically know y'all's names. I have a big cheat sheet with everyone's name on it. If you'll just make sure you stay in your little assigned seats during this process until you're excused, it'll help things go along a lot quicker. It's not much of the system, but we're kind of proud of it, aren't we, Ms. Leslie? All right, it works for us, so it helps keep us organized down here. I will do my very best to pronounce y'all's names properly. I know it's irritating to have your name mispronounced over and over and over and over and over again. See, it's already getting irritating, so I'll do my best to pronounce your name properly. Most of y'all's names don't look too bad today. There's one or two I'm going to have trouble with. You know who you are, too, right? You had your name mispronounced all your life. Well, it's not going to get any better with me. I'll probably mispronounce it, too, so I'll do my best to pronounce your name properly. If I don't get it right, please correct me. I'll try and pronounce it properly. Also, I appreciate y'all's cooperation in filling out those questionnaires. It does save a lot of time, believe it or not, once y'all come up here, because we've had that information provided to us, so it'll save a significant amount of time. Now, one other thing we're going to do today is, once I finish, and I'm almost done with my comments, we're going to split the group up. We're going to take some of y'all for questioning this morning. We're going to take some of y'all this afternoon, but we'll designate that and tell you all about that in just a minute. We won't be here real late this afternoon, I promise. We'll quit at a reasonable time, so you know. Now, I'm going to read to you all the pertinent portion of the indictment or charging document in this case. It sets out the allegations in this particular case. It's not any proof of guilt. You shouldn't infer any guilt from it or assign any guilt to it. It's simply the document that's filed in the court file that informs or advises someone of what they've been formally accused of. I'm going to read to you all the pertinent portion of that. It contains a lot of legalese or legal language. When I'm done reading the legal language to you, I'll translate it to plain English so you understand what the nature of the allegations are. Then I'll ask you all those questions I talked about. If you'll please listen carefully. The indictment charges 4 counts or 4 charges. The first alleges on or about February 28, 2013, here in St. Lucie County, Florida, that Eriese Tisdale did unlawfully, with a premeditated design to effect the death of any human being, kill and murder Gary Morales, a human being, knowing Gary Morales was a law enforcement officer while Gary Morales was engaged in the lawful performance of his legal duties as a deputy sheriff with the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office. And during the commission of the murder, the defendant did carry, display, use, threaten to use, attempt to use, or actually possessed a firearm, and did discharge that firearm, resulting in the death of Gary Morales in violation of Florida statute. The second count or charge alleges also on or about February 28th of 2013 here in St. Lucie County, Florida, that Mr. Tisdale did intentionally and unlawfully threaten by word or act to do violence to the person of Clarence Bennett, having the apparent ability to do so, and did an act which created a well-founded fear in the mind of Clarence Bennett that such violence was about to take place, and in the process thereof used a deadly weapon, to wit or specifically a firearm. And at the time of the assault, Clarence Bennett was a law enforcement officer who was engaged in the lawful performance of a legal duty. And the defendant knew Clarence Bennett was a law enforcement officer. And in the commission of the offense, the defendant carried, displayed, used, threatened to use, or attempted to use, or actually possessed a firearm in violation of Florida statute. The third count or charge alleges also on or about February 28th of 2013 that here in St. Lucie County, Florida, that Mr. Tisdale did unlawfully own or have in his care, custody, possession, or control of any firearm or ammunition after being convicted of a felony in the courts of this state, or of a crime against the United States, which is designated as a felony, or of an offense in any other state, territory, or country, punishable by imprisonment for a term exceeding 1 year in violation of Florida statute. And finally, the fourth count or charge alleges also on or about February 28, 2013, here in St. Lucie County, Florida, that Mr. Tisdale did willfully flee or attempt to elude a law enforcement officer in an authorized law enforcement patrol vehicle with agency insignia and other jurisdictional markings prominently displayed on the vehicle, with siren and lights activated in violation of Florida statute. Now, to summarize the charges, the first count or charge alleges first-degree murder of a law enforcement officer with a firearm. The second alleges aggravated assault on a law enforcement officer with a firearm. The third alleges possession of firearm or ammunition by a convicted felon. And the fourth alleges fleeing or eluding a police officer. Now we've had access, of course, to your questionnaires, and we know what your responses are there. Is there anything, because of the nature of the charges themselves, that would cause any of you all to feel you'd be unable to be fair and impartial in this case, or prefer, well, let me back up. Do any of you all feel, now that you know what the formal allegations are in this case, is there anyone here who feels they would be unable to be fair and impartial in this case simply because of the allegations themselves? Anyone feel they'd be unable to be fair and impartial if they were asked to serve because of those allegations? You'll raise your hand. And I'll get to everybody, I promise. Don't let me skip that. Let me start here in the front row. Is it Miss O'Shea?
Yes.
Don't let me put words in your mouth, but do you feel because of the allegations themselves you would have difficulty being fair and impartial?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Let me go down the front row to her left. Anyone in the front row that I missed? Is it Mr. Tovar? Mr. Tovar?
Yes.
Can I pronounce it properly?
Yes.
Tovar, don't let me put words in your mouth either, sir, please. Do you feel because of the nature of the allegations themselves, you would have difficulty being fair and impartial?
Yes.
Anyone down to his left on the front row? Okay. Is it Mr. LaSala?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir, don't let me put words in your mouth, please. Do you feel because of the nature of the allegations themselves, you would have difficulty being fair and impartial if you were asked to serve?
Because because of one part of them, sir.
Okay. Did I miss anybody on the front row? Okay. How about the second row? Don't be bashful. Is it Mr. Navas?
Yes, sir.
Do you feel, Mr. Navas, because of the nature of the allegations themselves, you would have difficulty being fair and impartial if you were asked to serve?
Yes, sir.
Did I miss anybody on the second row? We go back to the third row. Just give me a minute, I'll get everybody, I promise. Is it Mr. Watroba?
Yes.
Did I pronounce that properly?
Yeah.
All right, sir, don't let me put words in your mouth. You feel because of the nature of the allegations themselves, you would have difficulty being fair and impartial?
Yes.
Okay. If I call on you, you can put your hand down. Gentleman next to you, Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Feel the same way because of the nature of the allegations, you would have difficulty being fair and impartial?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Spires, next to him?
Yes.
You feel the same way, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Going down, I see, is it Ms. Ball? Is that pronounced properly?
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Ball, do you feel the same way because of the nature of the allegations themselves, you would have difficulty being fair and impartial if you were asked to serve?
Yes,
Okay, going back to the row behind. Just give me a second. Is it Ms. Lindbergh?
sir. Yes.
There she is. Okay. Ms. Lindbergh, do you feel because of the nature of the allegations themselves, you would have difficulty being fair and impartial?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And Ms. Cheatham, next to her. Okay. Ms. Cheatham, feel the same way because of the nature of the allegations, you would have difficulty being fair and impartial if you were asked to serve? Going on down. Is it Mr. Thompson? Okay. Mr. Thompson, you feel the same way because of the nature of the allegations, you would have difficulty being fair and impartial if you were asked to serve?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is it Ms. Seidel?
Yes.
Where is she? I see your hand, but there she is. Okay, I see you. Did I pronounce your name properly?
Yes, sir.
All right, ma'am, do you feel because of the nature of the allegations themselves, you would have difficulty being fair and impartial?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fellow, is it Mr. Terrence? Is that pronounced properly, sir?
Yes, sir.
Do you feel because of the nature of the allegations themselves, you would have difficulty being fair and impartial?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and on the back row there, I see. Is it Mr. Chrissy?
Yes.
Is that pronounced properly?
Christie.
Chrissy, okay. I'm sorry, Mr. Chrissy. Do you feel because of the nature of the allegations themselves, you would have difficulty being fair and impartial?
Yes.
Did I miss anybody? Okay. Now, in just a second or two, I'm going to ask you all, do you know anything about this case, either through your own personal knowledge, discussion with anyone else, or by reading or hearing about any of it in the news media? Now, we've got some of your indication in the questionnaire, but I want to confirm that. Now, when I ask this question, I don't want to know what you know, so please don't tell me or us what it is you may know. We're going to talk to you about that in just a minute. I just want to know if you've heard something about it, read about it, talked about it with anyone prior to coming into court today. But please don't tell me what you've heard, just if you've heard something or spoke about it before coming into court. Anybody heard or read anything about this case, discussed it with anyone before coming into court today? Okay, I'll get everybody, I promise. I won't, well, keep your hand raised, so I know you are. I'll tell you what, let's just start with the first row. Okay, that way you don't have to. All right. Mr. Uber, you may have read or heard something about?
Yes, yes.
Going down to his left. Ms. Perry, you may have read or heard something? Okay. Mr. Tovar may have read or heard something about it?
Yes.
Ms. Drake may have read or heard something about it?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Brooks, you may have heard or read something about it?
Yes, I have.
Mr. LaSalle, you may have read or heard something about it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Ms. Sims, you have your hand raised, you may have read or heard something about it? Okay. And Ms. Magwood down in the end may have read or heard something about it?
Yes.
Did I miss anybody on the front row? How about the second row? So over here on my left, Ms. Toussaint, you may have read or heard something about it? Yes? Speak up just a little bit.
Yes.
There you go. Okay, going down to her left, if you'll raise your hand. Mr., is it Colon?
Cologne.
Cologne? Okay, you may have read or heard something about it, sir?
Yes.
Okay, going down to his left. Yeah, his left. Ms. Burgess, you may have read or heard something about it?
Yes.
Going down, Mr. Green, same thing, may have read or heard something about it? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Going down to Mr. Green's left, Mr. Craig may have read or heard something about it?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Cook? Mr. Cook, you may have read or heard something about it?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Brown may have read or heard something about it? Okay, and Ms. Anderson may have read or heard something about it?
Yes.
How about the third row? Ms. Smith, you may have read or heard something about it?
Yes.
Ms. Francis may have read or heard something about it?
Yes.
Sarno, where is she? I see her hand there. There she is. Morning, Ms. Sarno. You may have read or heard something about it?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Watroba may have read or heard something about it too?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Davis, you're in the same
Yes.
situation? Okay. Ms. Spires may have read or heard something about it?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Bishop? No. Ms. Manganello? May have read or heard something about it?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Bishop, also, sorry, didn't mean to mix y'all up. You may have read or heard something about it, ma'am?
Yes.
Ms. Lee, next to you, may have read or heard something?
Yes.
Ms. Ball?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Okay, did I miss anybody on that row? Okay, how about the fourth row? Mr. Burns, you may have heard or read something about it?
Yes.
Okay. Is it Ms. Lindbergh?
Yes.
There she is. Ms. Lindbergh, you may have read or heard something about it?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Cheatham may have read or heard something about it? Ms. Crocker, you may have read or heard something about it?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
Okay, may have read or heard something about it?
Yes, sir.
Likewise, Mr. Rydberg may have read or heard something about it?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Waldman? There he is.
Earlier.
Okay, I'm sorry. Have you read or heard something about this case or talked about it with anyone before coming into court? Ms. Seidel? There she is. Can't have a hard time seeing each other. Or you may have read or heard something about it, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Jordan may have read or heard something about it?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Terrace may have read or heard something about it?
Yes.
How about the back row? Okay. Mr. Glenn, you may have read or heard something about it?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Renz, you're in the same situation? Mr. Watson, do you have your hand raised?
No.
Mr. Grogan, you may have read or heard something about it? Mr. Chrissy, you had your hand raised?
Yes.
May have read or heard something about it?
Yes.
Okay. And Mr. King?
Yes,
May
sir.
have read or heard something about it? Okay. All right, thank you. Let me introduce to you the people associated with this trial that are sitting here in front of you. I'm going to ask you shortly if you're related to them by blood or marriage or have any business or social relationship with them. Mr. Tisdale, seat over here on my left and y'all's right, sir. If you can just stand just a second or two, let me get a look at you. You have a seat. He's represented by Miss, I'll start over here on my left, Miss Celadonio.
Good morning,
Stand for
everybody.
you now. Mr. Glenn, you fellow stand up for you now.
Good morning.
Mr. Manship's kind of in the middle here.
Hi, good morning.
And over on my right and y'all's left is Miss Miranda.
Thank you, Judge. Good morning,
Stand up for you now
everyone.
if you'll introduce these nice ladies to your right.
Also part of our defense team is Ms. Allison Mastic and Ms. Amy Karen. Good morning.
All right, they'll be representing Mr. Tisdale. The state of prosecution is represented by Mr. Backadall. He'll stand up right there in the middle. And Mr. Eisenhower on y'all's far left.
Good morning.
Do any of you all know any of these folks? Are you related to them by blood or marriage, or have you business or social relationship with them in any way that you know of? Related to them, know them, friends with them, anything like that? Lee, who do you know, Miss Lee?
Eisenhower.
Okay. All right. Anybody else have their hand raised? No, I don't want to skip anybody. Okay, thank you, Ms. Lee. Okay,
I thought I saw a hand in the very back.
I'm sorry, did I miss anybody?
Mr. Christie.
Mr. Christie, did you know anybody?
Friends of who?
Of the folks I just introduced to you?
No.
Okay, I didn't mean to miss any. Did I miss anybody else? Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, what we're going to do is, we're going to split y'all up just a little bit. I'm going to have y'all step in this room next door. The ones we're going to talk to this morning will be designated. They'll give you some information about the others, when to come back, so you don't have to wait around here for no reason. Please, I know this is a tedious, laborious process. If you'll just be patient with us, we'll get through this as quickly as we can. I think, as y'all can appreciate, it is an extremely important process. It's an extremely important process. It's extremely important. So if y'all can just bear with us a few minutes, we'll designate which ones we're going to talk to this morning and give you information about the others. So let me have y'all step into this room next door. First, just row by row. Right? You want them row by row, Bob?
Yes, sir. First row, please.
Just first row first, please, and I'll be back shortly.
Once the first row goes, just wait, pause a couple seconds. Let me get you to the second row, please. Go in, straight in there. Wait a couple seconds, please, so they can get in there.
Second row, ma'am?
Okay, go ahead. Wait a couple seconds.
Third row, ma'am? You're gonna cross the back. Fourth row.
Hold on, sir. Just 1 second. Thank you, sir. You may be seated.
It's smaller, it's getting ready.
I don't know if he is decided to get on.
You're the gun guy.
That's a place where stuff gets.
What did he do?
No. I mean, this. Oh, yeah, you're right. Probably fine now.
what is going on.
What about C-37?
I love it when I start getting angry and calm down. In the office, I have a rock that I got here. Had a big, and you have guys, this is easy. Yeah. The computer system told you to sign up for it. Yes, I'm sure you've seen the she said, when I was in college, she was like 39 or 40.
Yeah.
And what's her retirement, $12,000 a year. That's 40 years. I worked here 40 years, I'll never get a nickel of retirement because I'll be dead or in the fund. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, I told them that at work I have a stone. I said, "There's a big one on my desk.